Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gianluca Massi speaking on the behalf of the Virtual Telescope Project. We are live once again after the amazing live feed we hosted half a day ago.
Good afternoon, ladies and
covering,
gentlemen. Gianluca Massi speaking on the behalf of the Virtual Telescope Project. We are live.
Just 1 second. Okay, because I had, of course, my YouTube windows opened as well. Here we are. So I just want to restart this smoothly from the scratch. So again, good afternoon from Rome. It is the city where I am, and as I told you, we are live once again after the amazing live feed we had earlier tonight when we tracked in real time the potentially hazardous asteroid 1989JA. It has been a super experience also because this double live event is actually introducing a very precious partnership involving the Virtual Telescope Project and the Telescope Live. I will introduce to you, my friends, this partnership, the benefits we do expect it will bring to the world, and then, of course, I want to share with you our images of this asteroid, the potentially hazardous asteroid 1989JA. Before I start, I also want to acknowledge the other technological partners of the Virtual Telescope Project. They are, of course, Onitron Italia Instruments, Software Bisq, C-Web, Santa Barbara Instruments Group, and Planewave Instruments. You know, the Virtual Telescope has been always here, ready to bring to you the most spectacular astronomical events, and every time an asteroid is around, we are very, very happy to bring real-time images of that asteroid to you, no matter where you are on this planet. So I started this live feed saying good afternoon because it is just my afternoon here in Italy, but of course I should say good morning, good night, depending from where you are on our beautiful common planet Earth. As I told you, this asteroid is actually the precious opportunity for us to introduce this important partnership between the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. You, friends, perhaps already know something about the Virtual Telescope Project, a leading project bringing to you real-time cosmic events with the proper explanation, with the commentary, live commentary by a professional astrophysicist, mainly myself. And we've been doing many things over the last 16 years using our advanced robotic telescopes in Italy. And from time to time, we had a group of amazing astrophotographers around the planet making possible for us, thanks to their images, to cover events not visible from Italy. Now our possibilities expanded much more because with this partnership with Telescope Live, we have access to a fantastic network of truly advanced state-of-the-art telescopes belonging to the robotic network, telescope network of Telescope Live. Telescope Live, my friends at Telescope Live are running a company who is leading its own field, that is making available to astrophotographers worldwide amazing telescopes installed under the best, darkest sky of our planet, like the Atacama Desert in Chile and the outback in Australia, and also very dark places in Spain, so that everyone loving the stars can have her or his opportunity to capture amazing personal images of those cosmic gems. The first time I just met Telescope Live was thanks to their website, telescope.live, and I was amazed to see how they made simple to everyone to access the cosmos for their personal enjoyment, because not only they are offering to you amazing telescopes, not only they are installed under the best skies of the world, but you can choose between a truly advanced approach so that you can really decide everything of your imaging needs, but you can also ask their team to do this hard part of the work for you. And what you will see at this point are the fully calibrated, just perfect images on your desktop. And I was amazed to see many other services because they host a very huge database with tens of thousands of cosmic gems taken with images taken to perfection, so that you can download those images and you can process them with your own skills, so that you can still have your very own vision of a given object thanks to their amazing huge database. And by the way, I'm also happy to tell you that Telescope Live is just offering an opportunity today. If you really want to test their telescopes, you can really subscribe their 1 week free trial, and they are offering a promo code virtual telescope, just one single word. When you are signing up there, when you are just registering there, keep in mind to put virtual telescope as the promo code there, and you will have a very nice discount. And I invite you to go there and check their website, telescope.live. I'm very enthusiastic because I was amazed to see their work, and I asked to be partners, and I discussed with them, in particular with their CEO, Marco Rocchetto, and his colleagues. Here we are. By the way, I want to share with you a greeting message from Marco. Marco has been attending with Telescope Live the Advanced Imaging Conference in California. They have been a primary actor and that very important happening there. And here it is Marco sending us his greetings.
Hello, my name is Marco and I'm the founder of Telescope Live. I'm sorry if I can't be with you today, but I've been traveling in the US at the Advanced Imaging Conference, and right now I'm actually flying back to Europe. I just wanted to connect to say hi to everybody and say that I'm very proud of this new collaboration with the Virtual Telescope Project. And we hope to make all these telescopes available to you and to the Virtual Telescope Project, and bring the universe closer to you. Thank you very much and enjoy the show.
We are back, friends, and we are ready to go looking and sharing images of the Potentially Hazardous Asteroids 1989 JA. First of all, I want to tell that unfortunately this time, after an amazing, very beautiful live observing session from Chile half a day ago in the middle of the night here in Italy, we have clouds over Australia, because this time we were going to connect with Australia. But weather there is cloudy, so the telescope is now not working, because of course you cannot operate a truly remote telescope while you are under the clouds. You have to protect the system, and of course there are plenty of devices, electronic devices there monitoring the weather. Should the weather improve in the next 30 minutes, of course we will be really ready to go. But before we go ahead, I want to show you what we saw last night from Chile in real time. Tens of thousands of people were connected with us, and I really want to share with you the same vision, the same sight, and here it is. I'm pretty sure you can easily recognize this huge asteroid. I will tell something about the asteroid very soon, but what I really want is this. Please note that dot of light moving from the upper left to the bottom right. Sometimes you can see even satellite trails, and that is our asteroids, friends. And we were observing from Chile last night. The sky was just at its nominal perfection. It was extremely dark, and while we observed soon after sunset, it was already offering very sharp images. And you know, those observing sites have a legendary quality as for the sky and for the images you can take there. And that really little trail crossing the field of view, moving from the left top upper left to the bottom right, is our asteroid 1989 JA. This sequence, I repeat, has been made with images we took in real time with many people connected 12 hours ago, more or less, from Chile. And I want to thank Ernesto Guido of the Telescope Live team for assisting during this the last live feed, and also this one, even if we are not going to use the telescope. So we understand that there is an asteroid not very far from the Earth. Maybe you have read somewhere that you have to worry about this. Let me say this crystal clear. Nothing to worry about this object, because in about 1 hour it will reach the minimum distance from the Earth, and that distance is still huge enough to stay safe. 4 million kilometers. 4 million kilometers is a bit more than 10 times the lunar distance. So I really don't understand why you should be worried about this object and not worried about the moon, which is 10 times closer. Of course, I'm joking, just to tell that really nothing to be worried about this object. But look at it like an opportunity, because we had the opportunity to share a large potentially hazardous asteroid, 1.8 kilometers in diameter, 1 mile more or less, and being so large and relatively close, 4 million kilometers, it is also bright right now, and people living in the Southern Hemisphere, unfortunately, right now is only visible from the Southern Observatory hemisphere, can be observed even with small telescopes. And this sequence is just 12 hours old, and I'm happy that at least this way we can share this view thanks to the partnership between the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. But I want to tell you a bit more about asteroids now, and first of all I want to tell you what is a potentially hazardous asteroid is. Before starting this live feed, before starting testing and checking the weather with Ernesto, I just received a message from one of you asking if I could kindly explain what is a potentially hazardous asteroid. I always say that these are 3 words: potentially, hazardous, and asteroid. I always say, keep in mind, the most important word there is the first one, potentially. It just means it could be, but not that it's going to hit. And for sure, for the next century or so, we are absolutely sure that no potentially hazardous asteroids, not known so far potentially hazardous asteroids, will hit the Earth. Potentially hazardous asteroid is a simple definition. If you want to be considered a potentially hazardous asteroid, you just need to satisfy 2 things. First of all, you have to be larger than 140 meters, more or less. That is the first requirement. And the second and last one is you have to come as close as 7.5 million kilometers from the Earth. So, provided you are 140 meters large at least, and provided you are able to come within 7.5 million kilometers from the Earth orbit, you deserve a very special hat with a flag saying you are a potentially hazardous asteroid. And you can easily understand this definition is saying something which has nothing to do with a collision, my friends. But for sure, object large enough and coming close enough deserve attention from a scientific point of view, but they are really not going to do anything bad. So I hope this made clear that potentially hazardous asteroid is a big box with a few thousands of objects inside, but none of the potential hazardous asteroids known to date is going to hit hard the Earth, at least in the next century. And we have people studying this every day and every night, like people here in Italy and people also in California, and they are doing a superb job. So we trust them, and we can stay safe until they will say that we have no problems approaching from the horizon. That said, I want to tell you a bit more about asteroids in general, because let me say this, my friends, we know plenty of asteroids now. The first asteroid was discovered The 1st of January in 1801 by Giuseppe Piazzi, and by the way, we call it dwarf planet. Now it is the dwarf planet Ceres. In a bit more than 2 centuries, we discovered a few hundred of thousands of asteroids, and they are mainly concentrated between Mars and Jupiter, and it is an obvious reason to call that region between Mars and Jupiter the asteroid belt. It is where the asteroids mainly live. We also understood what asteroids are. They are the bricks left from the very ancient times when the solar system started to form, the bricks, the stones not used to build a planet. So they are the leftovers, my friends. For some time we believed they could be pieces of previous object destroyed. On the contrary, we now know that they are little pieces never able to meet and build a small but monolithic or at least single object. And they are not able doing that for a number of reasons, including the presence of the big planet Jupiter just behind the shoulders of the asteroid belt. And Jupiter has a very intriguing mass, and it is able just to push and pull by gravitation, of course, every asteroid. It is just because of its perturbation that asteroids are, let me say this in a simple way, mixing, so it is impossible for them to stay calm enough to go in the same place and build a final small object. And planet Jupiter is also one of the responsible for having this problem, the near-Earth asteroids. Because it is obvious, my friends, if you are dealing with asteroids living in the main asteroid belt, you can sleep without troubles, because those objects are even farther than Mars. So I really don't see how an asteroid living in the asteroid belt should be a reason of concern for you. But Jupiter and other dynamical sources are at work as well, is able to take an object away from the asteroid belt, putting this object on a different orbit, maybe an orbit bringing it in the inner solar system. And if that object is coming close enough to the inner solar system, at some point it can approach the Earth orbit, because our planet is living in the inner solar system. This is, in short, what the near-Earth asteroids are. That is, asteroids coming significantly closer to the Earth than a typical asteroid. Of course, there are some some thresholds just telling you how close you have to come to be considered a near-Earth asteroids. And of course, not all the near-Earth asteroids have the same importance, because of course, if you come very close, if you are big enough, you deserve more attention than a very small piece of rock, my friends. Keep in mind, for example, every time you see a shooting star, after all, you are seeing a microscopic asteroid, a dust interplanetary grain just burning in our atmosphere. Nobody is worrying about a shooting star. Perhaps we are just shouting our desires. It is a typical tradition in Italy when you see a shooting star. But guess what will happen if instead of dust of grain you will have a grain 1 kilometer large? And dinosaurs could tell us about this, could tell us something about that. So Jupiter, as well as other dynamical sources, are actually creating the near-Earth asteroid. That is, asteroids now moving in the inner solar system. Just to give you a better idea, here it is very simple graphics, just telling you about the different objects we have inside this huge family. If you are a near-Earth object, you can be an Apollo, you can be an Athens object, or an Amor, depending if you are crossing the Earth orbit or not, if you are spending most of your time, the asteroid, most of your time inside the Earth orbit or not, and so on. We also know that there are objects with orbits entirely inside the orbit of the Earth. Don't trust the numbers here, because For the HEHO objects, Hatteras as well, they are also named Hatteras now. We are approaching, if I remember right, the number of 30 objects. So don't trust the numbers you see there, but the graphic here is quite clear. And our knowledge of these near-Earth asteroids increased a lot over the last decades, because we finally understood that monitoring them could be a nice idea, because we really don't want to do the end of the dinosaurs 65 million of years ago. So during the 90s of the last century, several observing programs were started to continuously scan the skies, just looking for every possible asteroid. And the amazing return from this superb activity is shown here. That is the discovery rate of the near-Earth asteroids over the last, I would say, few decades. And as you can see, the number exploded over the last 10 years or so. And now we have a few observing programs that are extremely good in finding new asteroids and, of course, near-Earth objects. And from time to time, it is rare, but it happens, we discover an asteroid hours before it is going to hit us. And the last one, the fifth in our recent history, was discovered in last March. But just to give you an idea how busy we the astronomers are keeping an eye just out there looking for this. So to date, we know almost 30,000 near-Earth asteroids. About 10% of these near-Earth asteroids are potentially hazardous asteroids. They are a subclass of the near-Earth asteroid population, because remember, you have to be larger than 140 meters and coming closer than 7.5 million kilometers. But we are still observing and we are still finding them. Very likely the largest near-Earth asteroids have been discovered, because the larger the asteroid is, the easier for us is to find it. The largest, the brightest, keep in mind. And our friend here, 1989 J. discovered about 30 years ago by Eleanor Elin. She was a pioneer in this kind of researches, is a bright example of what we are saying. And now I want to show you a few more images, and I want to start also showing a few telescopes, because this is a telescope we are still hoping to use. This one is a truly amazing large field of view telescope, part of the amazing network of robotic telescopes offered by our partner Telescope Live to everyone interested in astrophotography. And they really worked to make astrophotography very easy. Trust me, just visit their website telescope.live and check that by yourself. And this telescope in Australia, under a very beautiful and dark southern sky, is ready, just in case the clouds will open, to start taking images. And over the last days, with Ernesto, we could capture a few images with this telescope, and here it is. And we are seeing our friend here, 1989 J. imaged on 18 of May, so 10 days ago, when we were testing the system for our live feed. And you can see the object is there, clearly marked by an arrow. You can see also that the asteroid is moving. This is even clear after we saw together the animation at the beginning. And there are also some vertical streaks, and they are artificial satellites, something we saw also in the animation earlier. And we just checked and tested while waiting for our live event even the Telescope Live robotic instruments in Chile. And here it is, another sequence coming from 5 days ago, 23 of May, and you can see the object moving, because of course the asteroid is orbiting around the sun like the Earth, and being incredibly closer than the stars on the background, of course you can easily see it in motion after a handful of seconds, and because it is also relatively close. Of course we have asteroids coming much closer than this, even even closer than the moon, sometimes even closer than the geostationary satellites. But it is not the case. Just to tell you that you can really have very fast moving asteroids when they are very close. Right now, just to give you another number, our friend, the potentially hazardous asteroid 1989 JA, is moving with a relative speed, respect to the Earth, of 13.12 kilometers per second, and the source of this interesting datum is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and they are really doing a lot of things about the near Earth object population. And of course this sequence is coming from Chile, and I also want to show you the telescope that our friends at Telescope Live are happy to make available for you to grab images from Chile. This is, a professional grade telescope with a large diameter for 24 inches, that is 60 centimeters, and despite the huge dimension, it is extremely easy to use, because our friends at Telescope Live did an incredible job to simplify your life. And while you are using such a truly state-of-the-art telescope, you will be just happy, like playing with your very typical toys. Trust me, give it a try, and use also the promo code they are offering to you joining this live feed, and register on telescope.live using the promo code virtual telescope, just one long single word. And of course you're also invited to check and visit our own website virtualtelescope.eu to learn about the next upcoming events. We are scheduling something for a possible meteor shower in a few days, but stay tuned, because we still need to work to see if we will be able to do. Again, I want to show you our friends again from Australia, and look here. Here the telescope did exactly this. We asked to the telescope in Australia to track the potentially hazardous asteroid 1989 JA, and the telescope did this beautifully, and in fact the asteroid is a very sharp and bright dot of light. But what happened to the stars? Of course, if the asteroid is moving against the stars on the background and you track the asteroid, the result is that the background is just trailing. I must say that I really love these images, friends. And again from Chile, this is of course the image we spotted earlier. I want to share it again, just in case you joined this live feed only now, because this is the most recent image we have of 1989 JA. It comes from our previous live feed from Chile about 13 years ago, when we worked under perfect dark skies, clear skies. Now I also want to share another thing. This is the asteroid as seen last April via the Virtual Telescope Project robotic telescopes in Italy, when we started to monitor it, just to offer you these documents. Look how faint at that time was. It is 11th of April, so about 1.5 months ago, and you can see how faint it is, but most importantly, it was basically not moving, because both the asteroid and the stars look like sharp dots of light. 16 days later, 27th of April, here we are. This is the image 11 April, when we observed this asteroid just approaching, still far away and not moving against the stars. And 15 days later, look, it is a bit brighter, but still very slow. And in a couple of minutes, just we capture its light for 5 minutes, I remember very well. It is still not moving because too far. 5 minutes were not enough to start showing its motion. But now we switch to 11th of May, and now you can start seeing the motion. Brighter, of course, because it was approaching, and now being closer, it is apparently moving faster because the asteroid is moving along its orbit all the time. But now being closer, the perception of its motion is much more clear. And you can see that this is clearer and clearer because 1 week later, 18th of May, look, very bright and now pretty fast. This is another image from Italy, May 23. And from that night, I also have an animation. You know, this kind of animation made the virtual telescope very famous over the years, because we track the object and we create this kind of time lapses, like if we were traveling with the asteroid. I love this kind of experience, but I also love the other choice to have the stars fixed and the asteroid crossing the field of view. It is just a question of personal preferences, my friends. And we also had another opportunity to observe this object on May 24, but at that point the asteroid getting closer and brightening was also moving south. So we were slowly going to miss from Italy. And while I'm speaking, it is no longer visible from Italy because it is now a typical southern sky object. And on May 25, I could capture the last image from Italy. And I was lucky that night because the 25th of May, this object peaked in brightness. So the maximum brightness, of course, was reached a couple of days before the minimum distance. This is not unusual. In principle, you would expect that the closer the object, the brightest is. But you have to keep in mind the geometry involving the asteroid, the object we are seeing, the Earth, where we are, and of course, the source of light, the sun. By combining these three elements, you can easily get as a result that the brightest vision of the asteroid is not necessarily when the asteroid is at its closest. What, for example, if the asteroid is at its closest when it is between us and the sun? You will not see his because you will see its dark shoulders. Just to give you a very quick idea explaining this intriguing fact. So friends, the weather in Australia I see is still cloudy, and at this point I think I'm going to end this live feed. We had enough anyway, I believe, because working very hard together with our partners, the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live captured enough images in the past weeks, and even a few hours ago during the first live feed we hosted, so that we can share those images with you. And despite the clouds, I'm sorry for you clouds, but we won this time because technology and having telescopes, thanks to the partnership with Telescope Live all around the globe, makes possible for us just to limit the impact of the weather. Because if you are cloudy in Australia, you can have better luck in Spain, in Italy or Chile. And this is something showing very well why it is important to have access to a network of telescopes like Telescope Live and the Virtual Telescope Project. We are very active here at the Virtual Telescope on the public side, just sharing with you these live observing sessions. I like to think of them like a guided tour through the cosmos, but if you want to explore the universe, your very own universe, you are strongly invited by me to visit this website, telescope.live, and learn how you can do that very easily. And if you want to subscribe the services offered by our partners, you can use the promo code Virtual Telescope, just one single long word, Virtual Telescope, to have a very welcome discount. And of course, we will continue looking up every time something special will pop up. We will consider the opportunity to share with you in real time. Now, happy to do this in partnership with our friends at Telescope Live. Let me say this, I'm very happy that my Virtual Telescope project, which started in 2006 and gained such a legendary reputation worldwide, has now partnered with this very important company, offering very top level services to the community, because this way we can really offer to the world, I mean, the experience of the real time sky, the live experience of the cosmos from the north, the pole star, to the Southern Cross. And this is a completely new experience. The format which made a legend, the Virtual Telescope, together with the amazing tools for imaging and amazing telescopes made available to the community by Telescope Live, together will really change things and will write a lot of beautiful pages of public outreach and public understanding of the cosmos. And for me, it has been a big pleasure to be here, and no matter the clouds in Australia, we always respect Mother Nature. We could see this object using basically very fresh images collected via the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live instruments over the last few weeks. But keep an eye on the virtualtelescope.eu website, because with some luck, in the few hours we will announce our next live feed covering this unexpected and potentially amazing meteor shower. We are just checking a few things in case we will announce this event in a few hours. Before I hand again, I invite you to visit virtualtelescope.eu, and if you want, you can support the Virtual Telescope project by donations. If you like what we do, you can donate whatever you want, because what we do, while offered for free, it is not free to run, to maintain, and so on. So if you really want to contribute, you are absolutely welcome. And I also invite you to visit the telescope.live website, where our partner Telescope Live will tell you what they can do for you, and it is a lot to support your love for the cosmos. That's all, my friends. Keep looking up, and I want to thank the other technological partners of the Virtual Telescope project, and they are Unitron Italia Instruments, Software Bisq, C-Web, of course Telescope Live, Santa Barbara Instruments Group, and Planewave Instruments. That's all from Gianluca Masi, Rome, Italy. Wishing you the very best. Keep looking up and keep considering the cosmos the most beautiful place where we live. Thank you so much. Take care.